G'day YouTube, Producer29 back with you again, and welcome to our team building video for week 3 of the Orange League. We are up against River of the Saint Hertenberg. It's a really tough word to say. Sableyes. Anyway, I'm just going to call him a Sableyes because it's a lot easier. There is his team. Now, just want to quickly disclaim, I kind of want to apologize, I suppose, for my actions over my last few matches. In general, I would like to address my first round of the Orange League, my 6th round of the UBC, and my 2nd round of the Orange League. Guys, I wouldn't say I'm a cocky person, I pride myself on the fact that I know that when it comes to team building, I'm very good. And so what frustrates me is when I build a team very well, and I choose not to play it the way that I would normally play it. Normally the way that I play my teams, guys, is I'm a pretty safe battler. I'd say I'm pretty safe. I don't go for all the craziest plays in the world to win. I go for all the safer plays, and most of the time I end up winning because I choose safe plays. But lately I've been choosing some more risky strategies, not really taking the time to think about what my win condition would be in a certain situation, and it's led to me losing, and I get frustrated because of certain things like hacks and that. But at the end of the day, it's not due to that. It's not due to my opponent predicting me. It's the fact that at the end of the day, it's down to me. If I'm not going to be able to, play the way that I should normally play, I'm not going to be able to win the way that I would. So I just want to get that way. That apologize that I'm going to try and think with a bit more of a level head in the future, and hopefully your boy can climb back up the rankings. Anyway, let's focus on this week's match. The Sableyes have a very, very good team. He's drafted Mega Pinsir, a Pokemon that I really do like in this format. It is a very scary Pokemon, but what he hasn't drafted is a Spinner or a Defogger, and that's the part that kind of surprises me. He has things like Weavile, Chandelure, and Mega Pinsir, as well as Aerodactyl. I don't even know if Aerodactyl gets Defog. It might. But it's just a very big flaw, I feel, in his team, and so obviously getting up rocks early is paramount. But as you can see, the thing that he's done really well is he's drafted a team that puts a lot of pressure on the main Stealth Rockers of a team. For example, my main 2 Stealth Rockers are Mamoswine and Bronzong. Now, both of those are quite good, but it means that for Mamoswine to be an effective Stealth Rocker against his team, I'm probably going to have to bring Sashed Mamo. And I don't really want to do that in this matchup. I don't feel that Mamo is that great. I think Ice Shine is very threatening to his team, but then again, he does have things like Keldeo, which absolutely destroy me, and he does have Amber Palm, which can quite easily break a Sash with a Faker. And as much as I wanted to bring Mamoswine, I just felt that the other Pokemon here in my lineup would be more important, and I'm actually hoping maybe River predicts Mamoswine and brings something kind of crazy, but I just couldn't find room for the Mammoth this week. He was probably the 8th Mon that I would have brought if I could bring an 8th Mon. But kicking things off, we have Liberty, the Bronzong, who last week I was a little bit disappointed. Not with how Liberty did. I thought Liberty took hits really well. I think I just didn't use it as well as I could have. Exploding there against the Azumarill. Don't know if it was my best play at that point in time. Having this thing in the back to be able to take a Boom Burst from X-Cloud would have been really nice. Would have forced his hand maybe a little bit more, but instead I kind of decided to sack it to get some damage on his Azumarill. But since it was locked into knockoff, I maybe could have gone into Ampharos in that situation and kind of capitalized, but unfortunately I didn't make that play. And so this week I'm going to try and be a bit more solid. Basically, Liberty's main job, guys, is to come in against things like Mega Pinsir. It is my main Mega Pinsir check, and I kind of want to justify why I've chosen this as my Mega Pinsir check over Mega Ampharos. I think the Mega Ampharos check to Mega Pinsir is incredibly obvious. I think it makes a lot of sense, since I can resist the Flying Stab quite well, and I can take the EQ. But because of this, if River wants to be effective with Ampharos, with Mega Pinsir, he's gonna need to bring Swords Dance. Now also, I don't actually have a Pokemon that outspeeds him, but he's got to be wary of things like Mamoswine's Ice Shard, Emboar, Sucker Punch, all that jazz. So I feel like he has to bring the priority in Quick Attack, and he has to bring Earthquake if he wants to have a chance of beating Mega Ampharos. That leaves him with 1 move slot left. He either goes with the Return, which would be a strong, good stab move against the majority of my team, or he goes with Close Combat, which is pretty much the only way Pinsir actually hurts a Bronzong. Now, a +2 close combat does not kill this Bronzong. Does not kill it at all. And if he doesn't bring close combat on that pincer, he can barely scratch my Bronzong. I can eat up his hits for days. I can wall that pincer to hell and back. I'm running the rocks because obviously I want to try and damage his team. If I can get a free switch into my Bronzong against something like the Aerodactyl, even maybe the Dragalge in a certain situation, I'm getting these rocks up as soon as I can, as fast as I can. These rocks have to go up because it severely dents a lot of his big threats to my team. The main two that really dents, I would say, are Weavile and Chandelure. Both of those things are kind of annoying for my team, so being able to weaken them is going to be very, very effective for my team, I feel, this week. I'm running the Rock Slide because that'll allow me to just straight up take out Pinsir. I'm running Gyro Ball to catch maybe something on the switch. And I'm running the Zen Headbutt on the off chance that maybe he tries to go into Keldeo against me, and being able to hit that thing right on the scon with something will be good. Also, I can actually live a hit from Keldeo, so it'll be where maybe I'm choosing to sack my Bronzong. Being able to get off a bit of damage with Zen Headbutt could be really, really important later on in the game. But I do have a specific check to Keldeo as well as Celebi, and that is actually Flubber, my Reuniclus. Now, you might be surprised by this Reuniclus set this week. It's not normally something that you see often. It's specially defensive Reuniclus, but Reuniclus actually can run special defense better than physical defense. It's only with Carmine that people think that the physical defensive set is better, but I feel that Carmine against River is a bit counterproductive. He has a lot of easy ways that he can bring in things to blow Reuniclus back, so this set, I feel, is a lot stronger for it. Keldeo would have to be Specs in order to 2-hit KO me, and it would be a roll on his Hydro Pump, actually, to 2-hit KO me if he was Choice Specs. That is Timid, of course. I don't believe he'll bring Modest, because that would mean that he gets outsped by Manaphy, and that's like the last thing I think that he wants in this battle. So I feel like he's going to bring maybe Timid. If he brings Choice Specs, I have ways to handle it. Obviously, if he does go for Hydro and I see how much damage it does, I can quite safely go out to my Snorlax, and I can just judge on the damage, but I actually assume he may bring some kind of sub-calm mindset. This Reuniclus does not care about sub-calm mind one bit because I am a specially defensive set. So I can easily break the sub, then take him out if I need to with the Psyshock. Running the Signal Beam because it's also my main Celebi switch in. I don't really want to have to deal with that thing all day, so being able to hit that thing high will be good. And the last move is actually Thunder Wave, and the main reason why I decided to bring Thunder Wave on my Reuniclus is because I didn't know if River was going to be trying to be cheeky and pull aggressive switches, like into Weavile and stuff. I don't want to have to predict and go for Psyshock, so I figured even in against Keldeo, Thunder Wave's a safe play, because at the end of the day he might go out with Aromatisse and then Heal Bell, and that's fine, because Aromatisse affords me pretty safe switching my Bronzong to get a Rock, so it's not a big deal to me. And as well, if he goes into like Weavile and stuff, they get caught and end up getting paralyzed, and if he goes into Celebi, then he's just like a sitting duck for a Signal Beam, so it just made sense to me to run the T-Wave. It is a very solid move against River's team, as his best clerics are Celebi and Aromatisse. I feel like Aromatisse probably won't be coming to this battle. It is maybe his best Mamoswine check, but I think he's just going to go with pure offense to overrun Mamoswine. I think that's his best way of doing it, to be honest. So I feel like Reuniclus is going to be very important, taking especially hits from Celebi, and also taking some hits from Keldeo. Keldeo is a big threat to my team, as its mixed attacking potential can be very scary. But this Reuniclus can deal pretty much with everything that Keldeo throws at us. Hopefully it isn't Choice Specs, but we'll have to wait and see and find out. Next up we have my boy Spit Roast, the Emboar. This is my secondary defensive wall. Basically this guy is covering everything that I don't want Bronzong to cover. Specifically, I would say this is my main answer to two very annoying Pokemon that go by the name of Weavile and Ambipom. Ambipom is a really frustrating one for my team to deal with, mainly because I don't really appreciate Bronzong coming in on a Fake Out, because it's going to be followed up by a knockoff, which is going to hurt, and this is meant to be my main pincer check, so I don't want to see that happening. But with Emboar, if it does turn out to be a Life Orb Ambipom, every time he comes in, he's taking like a quarter of his health away just trying to attack this Emboar, which is awesome, and if rocks go up, it means that over time the Ambipom is just getting weakened and weakened and weakened, which is great. This is also my primary Weavile check, as I said, resisting both of its stabs. Even though it has stuff like Aerial Ace, I don't really care, I can eat those things up because I am an absolute monster. I am running a Rest Talk set. Now this might come as a bit of a surprise to you guys, thinking, why are you running a Rest Talk set? This is basically to preserve my longevity, as Weavile and Ambipom can kind of rotate between and take shots at hitting my Emboar, but I can actually effectively get some easy rests off against this team. And Sleep Talking either of these moves is pretty awesome. Like being able to hit up a lot of things on his team with Flare Blitz is great, and Earthquake is basically there so I have something to hit Chandelure with. I felt that Sleep Talk Sucker Punch was the most redundant idea ever, so I felt it was just safer going with EQ, hits some of the things really hard, and just in general, I think Ember is going to be a fantastic little check to Weavile, and I believe Amber Pom. I don't know if he'll bring Amber Pom, I don't know if he has enough room on his roster this week to bring it, but on the off chance that he does, I feel that Rocky Helmet is going to be very beneficial, as if he is going to bring Amber Pom, I am expecting something like Life Orb, and being able to take that huge chunk of its HP every single time is going to be nice. Next up, we basically have kind of a filler when it comes to defensive and offensive mod. Now, this set might look crazy, but that's because I'm slowly starting. I was looking at my matchup against River, and I said, okay, I've got basically the idea of everything that I want. I just need a kind of filler mod, and it was basically Beanbag. And I was looking at all the roles I needed to fill, and I was like, oh man, you know, I really wouldn't mind a decent switch into Volt Switch. This thing takes like 15% from Timid, Life Orb, Volt Switch from Heliolisk, which is nice. I wouldn't mind a switch to Chandelure. Thick Fat, plus the fact that Ghost type moves don't affect me, so I couldn't care less about them. And the best thing is, this thing can effectively be one of the best leads that I could have in a matchup. Rock Slide basically kills Mega Pinsir, and with the investment that I have, I can live a close combat. Gunk Shot pretty much straight up OHKOs Aromatisse and does an absolute ton to Celebi. Earthquake basically takes out Chandelure and Dragalge. Rock Slide gets pretty close to killing Weavile. Then again, against some things like Weavile and Keldeo, I'm probably just safer switching out to my counters. But the fact is that mainly Beanbag is just there as a big fat wall. It doesn't have any way of healing, and I haven't brought Wish Pass and Clefable, so I'd have to be careful about when I bring it in. But the basic premise is if I've got Stealth Rocks up and he has no way to clear them, the basic idea is that I'm just wearing down his Heliolisk and other mons in his team to a certain extent. But this moveset is very, very extensive. It basically means that I can come in against certain things and then kind of just change the momentum swing, and he doesn't actually have many good checks to my Snorlax. He doesn't have a safe switch in really to... I initially had Return on here because it was basically a really good stab move for his entire team. Then I realized that Self-Destruct was actually better because I know that my Snorlax is going to get worn down over time, and being able to just fire off a Self-Destruct against, say, maybe like a Celebi that can risk living a Gunk Shot, maybe go for Nasty Plot and try and pass, being able to just blow up and kill that thing would be really important for my team and can create a lot of momentum as well. Being able to explode on a Pinsir that's just gone for an SD and then going into my Bronzong is going to be pretty nifty. But then again, I'll probably just Rock Slide against the Pinsir if I try to SD. But basically, the defense is just there because it lets me live a few more things. It also, I think, lets me live Life Orb Secret Sword from Keldeo, so on lead matchup, I might be able to live a Secret Sword and Self-Destruct, and being able to kill Keldeo would be pretty sweet. But then again, if I do see Heliolisk and I do see Chandelure, I'm probably going to be a little bit more protective with Beanbag, just because I feel that it's a very good switch into both of those mons. I don't really want to waste it on my first turn. So I'll probably play it a bit more safe than what you'd expect, but I do expect it to be a very, very solid mon for us this week. It's making its debut, and I really want to show off how good Snorlax can be in this format. Moving on, we've got an old favourite, the Tank Fable. Now, the reason why Tank Fable, I feel, has a very good matchup against River is the fact that, well, first off, his only fairy resist is a Chandelure. Let that one just sink in for a second. And you might be thinking, okay, why aren't you running Shadow Ball then? Shadow Ball makes a lot of sense, right? The reason is because I wanted to run Shadow Ball, but I didn't really know what move I would want to replace. I felt the Soft World is important, obviously. Psyshock is great because that allows me to definitely hit up Dragalge, which he may bring as a Clefable check, and plus at 1 Psyshock OHKOs Dragalge with max HP. The only thing to watch out for is if Dragalge speed creeps me, but with the investment that I have in my Clefable here, he's going to have to be running, I think, 148 speed EVs at least, and if he's doing that, then he's sacrificing a lot of bulk on Dragalge, and at the end of the day, I can quite safely go into my Bronzong or my Reuniclus, which is designed as well to take hits from Dragalge. I can take 2 Dracos with my Reuniclus if I have to. Then again, if I see how much damage Draco's doing, I might ascertain that it is Specs, and I can always just go safely into my Bronzong too, as I do resist both of the stabs. Actually, one of the stabs I'm immune to, so that's great too. I feel just that Clefable, with the fact that he has no solid switch into a Fairy type move, I wouldn't call Chandelure a solid switch in. I think that it makes Clefable a very good commodity for my team. If something goes down and it's like in against Keldeo or something, I basically get a free kill, potentially because Modest Moonblast does a lot to everything, and I feel this moveset is going to be the most solid one that I can do for Clefable this week. I don't feel like defensive is going to really do much for me. It doesn't really wall Weavile because Icicle Crash plus Poison Jab always kills, so it's like, is it worth it? Not really. And I feel like especially defensive isn't going to work either because Keldeo does more damage to Clefable because Clefable doesn't have as much HP as Reuniclus does. So I feel like it was just safer going with a more offensive set. I really wanted to run Agility Ampharos, but I feel like Clefable will do more work than Agility Mega Ampharos. Finishing things off now, I just want to explain. I started looking at my Manaphy a bit differently now. I think I used to use this strategy a long time ago, and it was basically where if I had a Pokemon that was incredibly versatile on my team, I would normally try and build a team of 5 Mons and then say, okay, every role that I need is sorted. Like, if you look at this team, I have fantastic walls, I have a fantastic wall breaker, so basically Manaphy's job is just to be a late game cleaner and a momentum grabber. And so this set might stun you a little bit, but I am going to explain it in full and you will understand exactly what I'm trying to do with this Manaphy. So, this is Crazy Horse this week. It's different, but I think it's going to work. So, basically, I looked at River's team and I realized, okay, his fastest Pokemon is Weavile. Weavile, well, technically Dugtrio, but I don't really count Dugtrio. I don't see him bringing it, like, against the guy. I mean, against Mega Ampharos, sure it works, but if you look at my team, like, not many of these Mons are really going to care if they get trapped by a Dugtrio. Emboar can live a hit from it. Snorlax kills it straight up, especially if I get rocks up with a Bronzong, so it's like, you know, is it really a big deal? I don't think so. Anyway, so I think if it was Adamant, I can also outspeed that. Basically, I just went with what I knew, which was the fact that I just wanted to be able to outspeed Weavile. It was his fastest Mon, and it hit 383 speed, with 84 and a rash nature in that speed. With a Choice Scarf, I get up to 384. So any Weavile bar, for some reason, Choice Scarf, I will outspeed. And now this moveset, I know, it's a pretty wild one, but I'm going to try and kind of explain it and just kind of get you understanding what the hell is going on in my head. So, U-turn was basically the first thing I wanted this thing. I was tossing up between like Banded, Scarf, and stuff because I felt that U-turn was going to be a very important move for me in this matchup. River doesn't necessarily worry about Tail Glow Manaphy, and the reason for that is because he has stuff like Weavile that can come in straight away. Mega Pinsir, if it's already Mega Evolved, will always outspeed me because it hits 333 speed, which is annoying. He has things like Scarf Shandy. He has Celebi, which you can run the Berry on, so he can eat up a Bug-type attack and then just fire off a Giga Drain and kill me. He has Spec Keldeo, which blows me back. He has a lot of easy ways to blow back my Manaphy, and although I'll be able to set up for free maybe against like a Romatisse, it doesn't really mean much when maybe I can get one kill and I just straight up die. Whereas with this set, I can actually create a lot of momentum for my team, which can actually set me up in some really good positions. The main purpose of U-turn is to see exactly what his Manaphy switch-in is going to be. I'm normally going to bring in Manaphy against things like maybe a Romatisse, or even against Celebi, and on the off chance he tries to keep Celebi in, I can fire off that U-turn, making him think that perhaps we are speed tying, and get off a really good amount of damage. With this nature, it'll do about 40%, which you'd think, oh, it's a 4 times effective move, that's like pitiful damage. It's really good damage when you think about the fact that Manaphy is not really known to be a physical attacker, so it's pretty impressive damage, in my opinion. And it'll weaken Celebi even further to the point where Reuniclus can just come in with Signal Beam and kill it. So it's like, you know, pretty good if you ask me. Ancient Power. I think you can kind of tell where I'm going with Ancient Power. This has an 87.5% chance to Oko Mega Pinsir. Now this is really good because in a situation where maybe my Bronzong is weakened, I can go into Manaphy and he might think, oh, maybe Manaphy takes a hit here. So I'm just going to go for my plus, he might be like +2 or something. Now with the HP investment that I have, +2 Quick Attack will never be able to kill me. It doesn't really do that much anyway, because Manaphy's pretty decently bulky. So Quick Attack won't be able to kill us, and Ancient Power will pretty much just take it out. And if we get the boost, it's kind of cool. This also hits Aerodactyl pretty hard, and actually is a 2-hit KO on some Chandelure sets, depending on how much bulk he wishes to put on his Chandelure. Moving on, we have HP Fighting. Now, HP Fighting, as you can kind of guess, is for mainly the Weavile. Again, it is an incredibly good chance to kill. Basically, if Weavile takes like 1 Life Orb recall, and even if rocks aren't up, it will go down. And that's a surprise factor I feel I'll get from Manaphy, is the fact that he'll think, oh, well, you know, he can obviously take a hit from me, but I can take a hit from him, so I'm just going to stay in and it'll be fine, because he can't tell though, because I'll just go for knockoff twice, and because I'm like Life Orb Weavile, it'll be able to kill, even if he's defensive, I can wear him down, and I'll just be like, nah, I'm just going to go Hidden Power Fighting and kill you. Bye. It's basically the plan. I think it's going to catch him off guard, to be honest. I don't think he's going to expect Scarf Manaphy. And I can just come in and wear down his team. Like I said, if I can get rocks up, then think about it. If Weavile's coming in every time taking 25%, then eventually he's just going to go down to Manaphy anyway. And the reason why Psychic is the last filler move is mainly because it was a good way to hit Keldeo as well as Dragalge. Against bulky Dragalge, it's pretty much a 2-hit KO. And against Keldeo, it is a definite 2-hit KO. So being able to 2-hit KO really powerful things like that is very, very important. Dragalge is more important because Draco would be able to kill me, so it's more being able to predict Dragalge to come in and then going for the Psychic. But I don't want to make too many predictions. I think honestly, as crazy as it is, this team doesn't need to play risky, and I think that's been my problem in the past few battles, is I've been playing a bit too risky. Honestly, I think I just need to play smart, and as I said, the smart thing is most likely just leading with Beanbag. It depends on the matchup I see, because with River's team, he has so many different ideas. If I was going to have to pick, I think he definitely should bring Keldeo. Its matchup against my team is pretty darn solid. A combination of Secret Sword plus like Hydro Pump is terrifying, so dealing with that's going to be a pain. So I definitely think that should be there. I think Celebi, honestly, should probably be there. It's probably his closest bet to a Manaphy counter, other than maybe Spadef or Matisse. So he might bring the I'm trying to remember what the Bugberry is. I actually can't remember what the Bugberry is. He might bring that on Celebi and then go for like Giga Drain, or you know, some shenanigans like that against me if he needs to. I'm not too sure. He might go for like Power Swap, which would be kind of scary. I have no idea what River is going to plan for that one, but I feel Celebi could be there. I feel like he definitely needs to bring like Weavile and Mega Pinsir. It makes sense. It makes sense for him to bring offensive Pokemon. He doesn't. That's the thing about. It was the same with both of the guys in my division. They both are lacking a lot of defense. Like my team is very kind of bulky, as you can see. That's because bulky offense is my favorite kind of way to play. But I feel that, you know, River's team is very, very aggressive, and so by bringing a lot of different alternative offensive mons, like you wouldn't expect Scarf Manaphy plus Life Orb Clefable to be my two main offensive mons, as well as having a Assault Vest and Max Attack Snorlax, compared to like seeing I have like a Banded Emboar maybe, Mammoth. So I'm trying to think a bit outside the box, but also sticking to my game plan, which is normally just battling solid. So I think the thing for me is that I just need to use my head a bit more. I think I just go into it and make some rash decisions. But I feel the main idea for this team, guys, is if he doesn't bring Heliolisk and he doesn't bring Chandelure, I'm probably going to lead with my Snorlax. But then again, I could be in a situation where Bronzong could turn into a pretty decent lead. It really depends, guys, honestly, on if Mega Pinsir is brought on. If I don't see Mega Pinsir, there's a very good chance I'm leading with Bronzong and just getting up my... Oh no, not Mega Pinsir. Yes, Mega Pinsir. If Mega Pinsir isn't there, I will probably just lead Bronzong and get up my rocks, because at the end of the day, Bronzong's main job is to wall Mega Pinsir. It can maybe deal with Aerodactyl, and maybe just come in on Dugtrio after it's killed something, but other than that, it doesn't really need to wall much else on my opponent's team. It can get off a bit of damage against other stuff, but its purpose aside from that is pretty redundant. So I feel that if I don't see a Mega Pinsir, the main job of Bronzong is going to be coming in, getting up rocks, and then if I need to use it as a sack, it becomes a sack. That's pretty much the basis. I think also the same can be said for Emboar. If I don't see Ambipom plus Weavile, I feel like I have to see one of them there. Maybe both, I don't know. River has a lot of choices when it comes to my team this week, guys, and so that's why I tried to do what all the good team builders do, and basically build a team that is ready for every single one of his mons. The things I'm most afraid of, definitely I'm going to straight up say Keldeo. That thing, mixed attacking wise, is scary. Amber Pom is also scary, and probably the last scary thing I would say is Mega Pinsir, just because if Bronzong gets weakened for any reason, I doubt it will, I'm going to try and keep it just for Mega Pinsir, but if it gets weakened for any reason, it does become possible close combat bait, so I'm going to be really careful about how to play that. I do have the Scarf Manaphy in the back to maybe deal with it, but I just got to play really safe, guys. Really safe, or else it's going to be a rough battle. But I think things like Scarf Manaphy and the Life Orb Clef are definitely going to break through his walls. If he doesn't bring Dragalge, he doesn't have a solid way of checking my Clef. So that could be really, really good for us in this battle. Clef could be very, very clutch. I think Beanbag is actually going to do really well on its debut. I'm really hoping it does. I think the set is good. I think it will surprise River really well. So fingers crossed on that one. Spit Roast, all he's going to do is just make sure that Weavile and that Amber Pom are not causing havoc for my team, and I think he can definitely do that. Flubber, your job is pretty simple as well, bro. You just got to make sure that Keldeo plus Celebi are shut down effectively. Also Dragalge shut down would be great. And finally, Liberty, my glorious, brilliant Bronzong. All you really need to do is stop Mega Pinsir. At the end of the day, I guess you can also stop Aero, but I don't see River bringing Aero. Makes no sense to me. You're basically stopping a Mega Pinsir that I expect to come just because, you know, if he runs EQ, he doesn't care about Mega Ampharos, because I think Jolly EQ does like 97 minimum, so your main job is checking the hell out of that Pinsir and getting up those rocks. If I can get a rocks with Bronzong, it's over. I feel that with the momentum I can create with this team and the way that I'm able to counter every one of his walls, I should be okay. But that is basically going to do it for me, guys. I hope you did enjoy this team building video. Hopefully we can bounce back. River and Ryan, actually I'm recording this a bit in advance just because I'm going to be busy with work soon, so I just want to get these videos out of the way. But River and Ryan haven't played yet. They have each other round 2. They're both in my division. Ryan has 1 win. River has no wins. So if River can beat Ryan, and then I can beat River this week, and then Ryan loses the week coming up, that means that all of us are going to be on 1 win and 2 losses. And that means that your boy has a pretty good chance of maybe progressing in the division. Although we've got off a bad 0-2 start, a win against River and then back-to-back losses for Ryan could be just what the doctor ordered. If Ryan ends up beating River and then winning his other match, he's taking a huge lead in our division, and probably it could be an insurmountable one at that stage. So I'm just then going to have to play for a wild card spot, so I'm going to have to really try. But I feel good with the team. I feel like I've just got to go in with a positive mindset like I normally would, and I've just got to play my normal game. No risky plays, no crazy business. This team is designed to be able to handle everything that River has, so I just got to go in and handle everything. So thank you guys for watching. I really hope that... Why did that end up there? You're meant to be over there. Out of sight. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. It's usually 9. Sign.